D&D has lived on to delight millions of people around the world, and frankly, it's changed the landscape of gaming forever. And so now it's our responsibility to be the caretakers of D&D and make sure the future is bright. The very nature of D&D, we don't really control the brand. Our fans control the brand. And thus the process to create the future of D&D includes everyone in this room, everyone watching online. In fact, it includes everyone who cares about role-playing games in general. And it includes the people who are playing in the D&D Next Playtest and people who will be participating in the D&D Next Playtest. So this process, or journey rather, I guess I should say, is one that we're taking together. I'm going to tell you it's going to take some time, but I also guarantee you it's going to be a lot of fun.
So really with D&D Next, it's all about putting the rules behind us. We want to create a simple set of core rules that are easy to learn, easy to modify, and we're going to let individual DMs build the campaigns that they want to run. And we'll let players decide what kind of characters they want to play. With that strong core of rules in place, we can go back to focusing on what makes D&D interesting, what got us all here in the first place, and what's kept us here. Things like new adventures, new settings, new stories, things that speak to what made us all fall in love with D&D in the first place.
What is it about the current state of D&D that's made you embark on D&D Next?
It's really about bringing balance back to the situation, bringing balance back to the game, and giving a voice to the people who play D&D, to people who run D&D campaigns, to let them choose how do we want to play the game, because that's really the point of D&D. We want to bridge the gap between D&D fans, between fans and R&D, and we want to put the rules in the back seat and focus on actually playing the game and actually living those stories and living those campaigns. We want to focus all that stuff I talked about before, like what made us all fall in love with D&D in the first place. We want to preserve that feeling, and we want to make sure that it never goes away. And the way we're doing that is by the open playtest. By giving all of you a chance to let us know what you like and what you don't like about D&D, and what you like and what you don't like about what we've done to the game, and what you want out of the game and what you need. And it's really giving players and fans the final say on what D&D is.
So Mike, how do the Forgotten Realms fit into D&D Next, right? Is this the default setting? What are we doing with Greyhawk and Eberron and Dark Sun and Dragonlance and all the other settings?
The key for us, though, comes down to focus. If we focus on one world at a time, that means we can bring it to life in a way that has never been done before. The Forgotten Realms is a focus on new material, but that doesn't mean we're ignoring our other settings. Make that very clear. We're focusing on the realms to begin with, but it doesn't mean that that's the only setting we are ever going to do. We definitely have things in mind for what we want to do with our other settings. We just want to make sure that if we put all of our energy and focus and really focus on making one great setting for now, to avoid splitting our attention and giving you 6 mediocre ones. We're going to bring the realms to life by coordinating our efforts in terms of the visual elements, the writing, bringing everything together in a way that's never been attempted in the history of D&D. And, the realms are going to be great, but we do have other great settings that TSR and Wizards have produced over the years. I am enormously proud to announce that in early 2013, we'll release the first wave of D&D backlist products in electronic format once again. We've gone back into the catalog. And we're serious about this. We're going back in the catalog. We're going all the way back to the depths of TSR's history. And it's going to take some time to bring everything out. We have a plan. But we're going to make products from all editions available, all settings available, and so we have a schedule. It's not just be all at once. That'd be a bit daunting for us to manage. But regardless of what edition you love, regardless of what setting you love, no matter what you love about D&D, we want to bring it back to you, and we want to have it for you.
I've seen a lot of things done with or done to the Forgotten Realms that I haven't necessarily been thrilled with. I think it's great that you're working hard to fix up the realms, but I'm a little leery of what that means. So are we looking at another transitional world-shaking event, another Time of Troubles, another Spell Plague?
There is something big happening, but it's not a Time of Troubles, and it's definitely not another spell plague. Tonight, I am honored to announce and introduce to all of you the 6 authors of a new series of novels that make up an exciting story filled with dramatic changes to the world. It's something Realms fans dare not miss, something that will right the realms, and we call it The Sundering. The first book in the series, The Companions, will be written by a man who needs no introduction to Realms fans, Bob Salvatore. Longtime fans of Bob's Realms novels are going to be delighted with what they read. The author of the next Sundering novel, The Godborn, is Paul Kemp. Readers familiar with his previous Realms books are going to see some old friends and evils in the cast of Paul's book. Then, the reins of the Sundering sequence pass to Erin Evans in The Adversary, and characters from her earlier Realms novels will appear in her Sundering book too, not to mention A Familiar Place and power groups we've seen before. Veteran writer Richard Lee Byers then takes us to a different story focus in The Reaver. Things get wetter, and we see new heroes and non-heroes. Followed by another veteran of the Realms, Troy Denning. And yes, Realms fans will see some old favorites in the cast of The Sentinel, not to mention new threats in A Familiar Place. And that leaves me to bat cleanup. And it should by now come as no particular surprise to learn that certain recognizable characters I've featured before will smile at you from the pages of my Sundering novel, The Herald.
I know you can't give us spoilers from the novels, but what can you tell us about The Sundering? Can you give us an idea of how you and the other authors got together and worked through the great big story that's going to set the realms right?
I shouldn't give away too much about The Sundering, but let me just say there will be war. I know, there's always war. But although there are going to be gods and their chosen taking some sort of part in this story, there are also just plain folks struggling to stay alive and defend what they hold dear. And you'll see that in the Sundering books, and your characters will be a part of that defending afterwards.
When the effects of the Sundering have settled, when the world has entered into its new era, that era of massive change, of the realm-shaking event of the year, and the iconic characters driving that action, that's going to come to an end. We're going to enter a new era. For way too long, we've left the big stories of the Forgotten Realms up to our characters rather than your characters. In the new era of the realms, it's up to the heroes that you play to make an impact in the world. Your characters will determine the unfolding tapestry of the Forgotten Realms. Shaping the realms is your job now. The realms is truly going to become your setting.
Let's shift gears and talk about what's going on right now with the public playtest.
Since we launched our first public playtest in May, a lot of people have taken part, and we've done some surveys. Thank you very much to everyone who filled out those surveys in response when we asked. We send you the email saying, hey, next survey's up. It's been a huge help. We go through forums, blog posts, Reddit, everywhere we can get feedback, we're looking for it. And there's been a lot of stuff that's been great, it's been very well thought out. It's really helped us a lot. It's really your ideas, your thoughts, your opinions. All of that has been an enormous help for us as we keep on working on D&D Next.
How long is the playtest going to go before its pencil is down? And is there anything in particular that your team is asking people to take a look at as they playtest?
We anticipate that it's going to be about a 2-year process at our current rate. We've always said that we were going to do it right. We're not going to try to do it fast. We're not going to try to speed to the end. We're going to take the time as needed to make sure that we can continue to take in fan feedback, that we can continue to make sure we're on course, and that the game is right out of the gate. I can't emphasize that enough. we're very serious about taking the time we need to get this right.
And most importantly, thank you all so very much. You are here in this auditorium, you're watching online, you're watching the recording because you give a damn about Dungeons and Dragons. And that is freaking awesome. So thank you.